Welcome to a get ready with me. I've just had my hair up in this ponytail, but I am going to take it out now so that I can start to get ready. And this morning I already went ahead and put some fun little hair jewelry in my hair. I'm gonna go ahead and throw it up here in a bun so that I can pop a shower cap on so that this doesn't get wet. This is the last day of me having these cornrows. I will be taking them out. I really love how they look. Well, it's more like it's a Fulani, so the cornrows go up to here, and then it's loose braids in the back. And this has been such a fun summer style. First up, an outfit change. I'm back. So this is my outfit. I'll show you the whole thing once I'm done, but it's a really pretty dress. I do want to do an updo that's kind of like this, but a French twist. We will be using this claw clip to do it, but I kind of want to do a half up variation of it. So what I'm going to do here is let these down. And I've been moisturizing my braids throughout the week by putting a little bit of water and then some serum on it and letting it be. All right, I'm just going to twist these into a bun at the top. Just keep that out of the way. It looks very cute. And then I have these three that are the three in the back here. So first thing I am going to do is just take this out. And I can't remember if I had borrowed hair at a certain point or not, because I know some of them I borrowed hair with. So we'll just have to see, because if I didn't borrow hair, then I can just take them out easily. All right, let's see. Is this gonna let me take a loop out? It's kind of like a loop here. Seems like the answer is no. And if you didn't borrow hair and you try to pull it out, it doesn't end well. So I'm just gonna have to manually undo this one. Okay, now let's see if I can pull it. Okay, almost there. And this feels very soft and smooth. Initially, I had used a combination of this leave-in with this curling custard to create my braids here because I wanted them to have some hold to them, but I put a lot of the leave-in in, and it feels smooth. It does feel a little producty, but again, I've been re-moisturizing it throughout the week and just adding some of that serum. Okay, let's see if I can grab a loop somewhere. Okay, let's see if I can grab a loop somewhere. Here we go. It just helps a lot if you can, here we go, pull a whole loop instead of having to undo each one. And you can see with custard on like how defined these are, even though they've been in for a week. This custard really makes for a nice braid out, and it does dry slightly crunchy, not crispy, not like some of the other gels I've tried, but it does. But then the cast will break on its own, or you can add a little oil, and then it becomes very, very, very soft. It never feels crunchy on twists that I've noticed. It's just the braids where it feels a little crunchy. It's hard to avoid that with hold products, but it's probably the best I've found. I've been using this curl forming custard for years and years, and it just works for me every time. All right, let's see if I can. Just gently pull here. Oh, there we go. We got it. Yay. Just makes this so much quicker than trying to undo every single little one. Okay, so now that I have that done, I'm gonna split this roughly in half. And if this isn't perfect, I really don't mind. Just gonna kind of clip. These are the best clips I have ever used in my hair. All the other clips break, so I use these. I'm gonna pop on a bit of serum. my wooden comb, like starting from the root, because it just kind of releases shed hair. So like right now the shed hair is all right there, and we're just gonna then go back in and just kind of brush it out from the ends a little bit. And there's a small knot. Sometimes these knots are just small little shed hairs, because your hair is always growing and always at a different rate in its growth cycle. So I think sometimes you just get tiny little shed hairs. It's not even just breakage. Okay, that's not too bad. That combed out pretty easily, and I don't need it to be perfect or anything. Just combed out, because it'll rebraid better for me that way. And this also helps too, so when I go to detangle next, I've already got out some shed hairs. Now that I've got this combed out, it's time to rebraid. Split this into 3 sections, and it feels very nice and soft. That's one done. That gives me a lot more length than I had before, because my braids were just kind of sitting at the top of my collarbones. So now we're down here, which works really well with the look that I'm going for. So a lot of times I think people struggle with the idea of starting from the root, because they're like, if I start from the root, then I run into here and I'm just going to rip through that. But that's not what you want to do. Right now I'm just releasing all the shed hairs, which then when you go to comb from the bottom, instead of trying to pull that shed hair from the bottom all the way from the root, you're only having to pull from the middle part of your hair. So then I'm just going to go ahead and gently comb this out. And the key here is try not to take sections that are wider than what your brush can handle. So this is just about what my brush can handle, or my comb I should say, because I don't really like brushing out my hair after trying various different combs, the Denman D38, which is a great paddle brush, the Unbrush, which works fine, just not in my hair. Some other ones that I had way back that work really, really well, but I just found they chewed up my ends over time. I switched to combs. I mainly use the comb from Rev Air, the right comb, and that works great for me, but that's mainly an in-shower comb, and this one is really great for out of shower. I would never use this in the shower since it's wooden, and it could just start rotting if it stays wet too long. All right, we're almost there, just combing out the last bits, and it's so nice to have good ends that don't knot up. That's another reason for keeping your hair in braids, but the trim that I had done, I think I did a little bit in July when I put the braids in, really took most of the bad ends off. Combing has just been a much easier experience, which is wonderful. Okay, so that one is all brushed out and we are ready to braid this. So next, what I'm going to do is put this into a claw clip French twist here. Got some Eco. My braids are a little fuzzy, so I'm gonna just kind of put this to help slip them down a little bit. I didn't do it earlier because then I didn't want to reapply the gel yet again. So this is the preliminary round of putting it in, and already it looks so much neater, but we're not done yet. Got some Eco here. And that was while I was putting it into the French twist, because it's harder to then smooth what I've already put into this twist with the Eco if I hadn't added some beforehand. So really just using this to lay it down. And Shelly V actually put me onto the Eco Styler, which is great because I was using Big Papa before and it just made my hair so super crunchy. And Eco Styler actually doesn't do that for whatever reason. You would think it would. You would think it would be crunchy, but it actually leaves my hair super soft after it dries. Now, if I would put it in actual braids, then no, it's gonna have an issue. But if I've already done the style and I'm just adding it to the top to slick it down, it works beautifully. See how nice that's looking? Now it looks great, but we have one last step to make this really come together. Here's my do-rag. See how nice that's looking? Kind of pull this off my forehead a bit because I don't like gels and things on my forehead. I know some people are against bonnets, but I cannot give up a good bonnet because that keeps all my oils from getting onto my face during the night. So go around like this. It has been about 20-30-ish minutes and I'm gonna go ahead and add some jewelry to the end of this. I'm gonna go with these. There's one, and it just kind of makes my braids stand out a little bit from my outfit here because my hair is purple, my outfit is purple, and it just kind of all blends together. Okay, that should do pretty good. I don't need anything too crazy, just a little bit, just a touch. All right, so then we're gonna go ahead and take the do-rag off. In between the heat and this pressing down, it should have set. I'm just gonna, that looks really nice. That looks really pressed down. I don't want to be adding this much product to my hair every day, so I only did this gel one other time throughout the week, and then I've just been putting a little bit of water and pressing it down, or just letting it be fuzzy. These are the earrings that I'm using. I usually kind of think of these as winter earrings, but I think they're gonna look so good with this outfit. And honestly, I wasn't even going to do the beads, the hair jewelry, but since my hair was a little fuzzy this morning, I put them on to just give my hair some definition to it, so it wasn't just all kind of a halo frizz, and they looked so cute. I decided to just incorporate them as part of this final style. These are the shoes I'm going to be wearing. I think they're super cute. The reason I like these is because I can't do very high heels. When you look at where actually the heel is, it's only about this much. That way I'm not going to fall over while I'm wearing these. I am going to add a little bit of lipstick. I think I want to do like a red. I start with this shade as my base shade, and it looks kind of strange because it all blends into my skin, but that's what I want for a base color. And then I'm going to add this red on top. We're almost at the right shade, but it's a tad too pink, so I'm going to tone it down and then add these. So I'm going to blot it up first with a piece of paper. Then I'm going to add this. And that's with this added. Now I'm not going to blot any of that off. The key I find to wearing bright red lipstick is several things. Number one, you want to get a shade that matches you. Like I said, the other shade was slightly too like pinky, so this is a little bit more toned down, a little bit more blue. The other thing is, as I did here, was layering it. So if you look, I have not aligned my whole lip, but you don't really notice because that very base coat layer blended into my skin, so everything is like nice and soft and shiny. Otherwise you just have this dry underlayer that just can stick out too much when you don't want it to. So doing that first coat is very important. And then the third thing is not lining all the way to the bottom. If you have large lips, if you line your whole lip or even overline, you're going to look a little bit like a clown. So the key is just not lining the whole thing. I've lined the entire top lip, and I could go higher if I wanted to, but this bottom lip needs to be underlined for it to really work. If you have smaller lips, you probably could get away with lining your whole lip, but when it's larger like this, you don't go the whole way. and it looks really, really nice. And then the fourth thing you have to remember is that when you're wearing bright red lipstick, especially if I don't have any eye makeup on, that's just going to be the entire focus of my face. So everything else has to be really, really nice and well and put together, because it's just right to your lips, and you just have to have confidence and be bold and step out into the world wearing this beautiful shade. Forgot to add, I added this bracelet as well. Here we are outside for the final look, shoes and all. Very, very adorable, very cute. And here's my hair. Everything has come together really, really well here, so I'm very happy with my outfit for today. And that is my get ready with me. Thanks for watching.